If you don't hold an RWA coin, you're going to miss out. But this narrative is filled with scams, so picking the right one is extremely important. Today, I'm going to help you with that. You'll have to excuse my voice. I've been very sick over the last couple of days, hence no videos, but feeling a lot better now. Remember, these are my bearish predictions. These can go way higher. This is not financial advice. So we're going to start things off with checks. Checks is the living proof that some projects in this narrative, probably more than any other narrative, can look absolutely dead before printing when hundreds of X's. Other than winning awards and getting licenses such as Monetary Authority of Singapore in 2022, I don't really see why retail should pick this up. It's currently listed on 3 low-tier exchanges. Market cap is big, low volume, white paper is kind of vague, roadmap is kind of vague. They have licenses, like I said, but operates within different jurisdictions. Just based on how it's performed earlier, I'll give this a 10x, but safer and better 10x's are out there. Propbase, covered this in a video not too long ago. Probably one of the better fractional real estate ownership altcoins on this list. It's only on Aptos currently, but the team said it's working on a bridge to base. Team is very competent. They keep me updated on what they're working on. I think this is easily a project that can do a 30x. Also performed really well during the last pump. Aptos, at the time of me recording this video, is also performing extremely well, so that is something to take into consideration. So definitely one of the better projects on this list without a doubt. Next up, we have Soil. You lend your stablecoins, and Soil use this to provide liquidity to the TradFi world. Soil receives yield, which then you earn interest on. The number one thing that worries me about Soil is that it seems to be very illiquid, and some red flags regarding circulation. Other than that, the project itself is decent, team is doxed, working product like I said, and good branding. I covered this in a video a long time ago if you want to go check that out. I think a 20x is on the table for Soil. Next up, we have GFI. GFI is actually a very solid project, very similar to Soil, which we just discussed regarding lending. Good backing, has very good listings, including Kraken and Coinbase. However, I don't see this going parabolic. With a lot of catalyst listing events out of the way, I don't see it doing crazy multipliers unless it gets a Binance listing. Did a 15x since the all-time low, already decent market cap size. This won't do more than a 10x, but honestly one of the better risk-reward projects on this list. If I was holding this right now, I would just keep on holding it. Not financial advice. Propchain, I think a better alternative here is just Propbase, to be honest. This is, however, a fairly decent project. It's now in a good buying range, but there are better projects out there. I'm going to give this a 10x. Proppy, a true definition of a dinosaur. It's been around since 2017. Same thing, real estate. This one performed quite well, especially taking into account how long it's been active. Same argument here. I would much rather just buy something that's new, that's going to attract a lot of people, like Propbase will. It's going to get a 10x. Trueflation is a lesson in tokenomics. I wanted to include this just to illustrate what poor vesting looks like. This chart makes a lot of sense when you look at the vesting. We're going to have early investors selling their tokens for a long time. If you look at the vesting schedule, you have investors receiving this amount every single day. Furthermore, this hasn't shown any strength. Some RWAs also pumped around 20th of July, but this one didn't even do that. So the only arguments that I have is that the investors aren't up anymore. So they might stop selling, and that has got a KuCoin listing. Either way, this isn't worth it. Maybe it's a good trade, but for holding, not worth it at all. Parcel, there's a lot of things I like about Parcel. It's on Solana, it's got good listings, and it's got good volume. It's got points of difference, like for instance, creating real-time real estate index. I don't think anyone else is doing this at the scale that Parcel is doing this. They have a good team, they know how to market, they are representable. They've done countless interviews. They're backed by the Solana Ventures and Coinbase Ventures, so a Coinbase listing is maybe on the table. One thing to seriously consider about this one is the tokenomics. There's going to be a huge selling pressure depending on how much the early investors are up in Q1, Q2, 2024, and they account for like 50%. Just because of this, I'm very tempted to put this in a void, but I'm going to give it a 10x. Just be very alert. Metazero, no listings, didn't even do a 2x from the RWA pump. Read the documentation and you will quickly understand that none of it makes sense. Looks like they just found 2 narratives that they thought would do well and forcibly merged them together without any knowledge of tokenization, to be honest. I'm sorry for being harsh. This is an easy avoid. I don't want people to lose money on this. Next up, we have Brickin. First thing to note about Brickin is that it did a 10x from the BlackRock pump back in March 19th, when they initiated the build fund. You will see me referring to this numerous times throughout this list here, because there is no single other event that has been more of a catalyst for the RWA narrative than this. And unless the project is very new and small and hasn't been given enough time to be coupled with a narrative, this BlackRock event should be regarded as a good indicator for further performance. Now, Brickin reacted very well to BlackRock, meaning that it's very correlated with RWA. They have a big team that is doxed. If you're going to invest in small cap RWA projects, I would seriously lean more towards teams that are doxed, because in this sector, like I said in the intro, it's filled with scams, and it drastically reduces the probability that a scam is taking place with a doxed team, as someone will be held accountable. Also, this narrative is and will be heavily regulated, as it has direct connection to the real world and TradFi. So you need a competent team that is able to maneuver this. So Brickin, like a lot of the other coins on this list, is about tokenizing assets, whether it be real estate, equity, startups, or even debts. These guys have an impressive TVL for being such a small project. If these guys get more listing, I have Brickin at an easy 30x. Should be very doable. TokenFi, this one is very interesting because this one taps into multiple narratives. TokenFi was launched by the Floki team and also has integration with Floki. If we go back to June, where we remember memes all of a sudden popping off, this one also pumped. This is very important to take into consideration. This means that this is coupled with a meme narrative, or at least Floki. Same thing with RWA, pumped when it was supposed to pump on the BlackRock news. And they will also have generative AI for smart contract auditing and NFTs coming. So potentially tapping into the AI narrative as well. This remains to be seen, but if this is able to diversify across narratives and actually be relevant in all of them, this is a very versatile hold. Only dating back to Q4 2023, raised 10 million, good listings, checks a lot of boxes for something that will perform well. So because of this, I'm going to give this a 10x. Remember, we are conservative, but a 10x is very doable. Next up, we have Pendle, both a DeFi play and an RWA play. I do believe this is one of the better projects on this list, even though this went live mid-2021 and therefore participated in the later stages of the last bull run. This one managed to pull a 200x since the 2022 lows, which is very rare, not only for an RWA project, but a veteran one. Listings are good. By the way, you can use my Bybit link for up to 30,000 in rewards, link in description. This one also pumped to the BlackRock news. Tokenomics are good, volume is insanely good, same with their TVL, team is spamming X, which is bullish. It's pretty high in market cap though, and at the time of recording, it's been pumping. So this isn't more than a 10x, but still a very decent project. Checks all the boxes for good pumpamentals. Nxra, this project is dead. Their branding is really good, but it's not good enough to carry this project. It's been quote unquote hacked back in 2024, so lost a ton of investor confidence. Risk reward is not there at all. If this was lower in market cap, like sub 5 million at least, I would consider it, but this is going to keep on dipping. Tested the all-time low of 2023, failed to hold it. It's an easy avoid. Ando is a really good project. Only project on this list that has a clear connection with BlackRock. The only thing that concerns me about this project is the tokenomics. They're a bit vague. And also, if we take a look at the vesting schedule, make sure that you buy after the unlock. That is going to happen on January the 18th, 2025. Save that date, both if you hold and are looking to buy. Promise me that. Other than this, Ando is by far one of the best performing RWA projects on this list. But this is a very good risk reward project. I can 100% see this getting a Binance listing as well. But remember, this is a conservative list, and with the big unlocks coming up, I cannot justify putting this more than a 5x. Next up, we have Woin Team is active on Twitter. They're doxed. It's part of WeSet. Marketing is a bit sloppy, very AI generated, but a lot of other marketing is AI generated as well. So that's not necessarily the end of the world. Only has an MXC listing, but this one has potential to do a 30x, I'd say. Responded well to the March pump. It's very risky though, but a 30x is doable. Next up, we have BST, has some good things going for it. Their worldwide vision is great. Also, when we're talking about fractional ownership of real estate, I need the team to be doxed, like I said. There's a lot of trust going into that. This is a doxed team, a very experienced team actually. However, there are two things that put me off. One, poor listings for such a long lifetime, and two, small pump on 19th of March and overall performance in the aftermath. I don't think this will do more than a 10x from the current levels. Next up is Nxra. claiming to be the first layer 1 RWA blockchain. Now, of course, we have more layer 1 RWA blockchains that have been released in recent times. Nxra has their chain mainnet coming in October 2024, so be on the lookout for that. This project has performed insanely well. I expected it to dip a lot more than it did after the 100x, so very impressive. As for further continuation of performance, I can't really give this more than a 5x, maybe a 10x, but as I'm recording this has also been pumping over the last couple of days. It's going to get a 5x, but it's a very good project. It can absolutely do more. Next up, we have LCX, decent project, but it's a bit outdated. Reacted poorly to BlackRock announcement. I can't really see this being attractive in the eyes of retail. It has good listings, only missing Binance. But Binance rarely lists outdated projects with poor volume. It's going to get a 5x. By the way, guys, I can tell my voice is getting more and more rusty as we go through this video. But stick around because there's good alpha coming up. Dusk, same argument as with LCX. This one, even as a Binance listing, I know their mainnet is now launched. Doesn't matter. I don't think this will do more than a 5x. It's outdated. Risk reward is not there. StrikeX, they have a good working product being their trade strike, where you through tokenization, trade assets, some BNB, which is fair. Listing situation is pretty bad for a dinosaur project like this. Having said that, they still pull fairly decent volume. I think a 10x might be possible for this. With SMT, they tokenize assets, so similar to StrikeX. So any asset can be tokenized and traded, including real estate, carbon credits, private holdings, stocks, and bonds. This project went from being dead to doing like a 100x, also performing when it's expected to perform. Right now is down significantly from its all-time high. It doesn't have the same element of novelty like some of the other projects on this list, but since it dipped so much, I can see this doing a 20x. Maple is sadly a project that did not react well, as some people expected, to the RWA pump back in March. It's sad because this project is probably one of the few legit ones on this list, but lost all hype to, I'd say, pretty poor marketing. Could have definitely done a better job there because staying relevant cost a lot of money. This won't do more than a 5x, sadly. LBM, never been bullish on this. It's low in market cap, but too many red flags. Also, no listings. People have told me several times when they shill me this project that an MXC listing is coming. This can still pump, but I don't really see it doing more than a 20x, to be honest. And there are so many good projects on this list that will easily do that with less risk of a rug. It's a very clear avoid for me. Next up, we have Centrifuge. I think Centrifuge is perfectly placed when it comes to listing to market cap ratio. They raised 50 million, they have nice audits, but again, extremely poor performance around the 19th. I don't see many people talking about it. It's old, their socials are falling off. It's either a 5x or avoid. Given that it's dropped significantly from its March peak, I'll give this a 5x, but again, I don't see the catalyst event other than a Binance listing, but Binance most likely won't list this unless it somehow gets big scale adoption. But 5x is doable. Next up, we have Polymesh. Tries to be an L1 institutional grade blockchain for tokenization. Looking at the chart alone, this just doesn't appeal to me. From the lows of 2022, this did a 7x. The Binance catalyst event is taken away from it. It's also fairly big in market cap considering it's an RWA project. This can give you a 5x. Labs, only including this because I saw a rate in my comment section. This is horrible. Doesn't pump with RWA pump. The previous CEO is under investigations. There's been delistings. If you hold this, not financial advice, of course, I would get out. So easy avoid. Leox, tokenization of luxury goods. Too niche in my opinion. No one cares about this, at least for now. The marketplace looks dead. Dip below previous all-time low before Q1 pump. This is an easy avoid. Alltrade has very good partnerships such as MasterCard and Polygon. So that is obviously strengthening their ethos a lot. Alltrade is a marketplace for tokenized treasury bills, stocks, real estate, etc. They're active on Twitter, they're getting decent engagement. Listing situation is somewhere in the middle. They have some low tier ones. I can see this potentially doing a 20x. Seapool, it's a decent project. The thing is, no investor is going to see this chart and think, this could turn around any second now. That's pretty wishful thinking, in my opinion. Still missing some tier 1 listings. It gets a 5x. Now, finally, we have REIO. I've talked a little bit about this in previous videos. Probably part of the top 3 projects on this list. At the time of me recording this video, it has pumped like crazy over the last couple of weeks. Members of the VIP got in at 50-cent mark. REIO is doing DeFi with tokenized real estate, private equity, and other real world assets. This have a die-hard community. It's a bit higher market cap, but but I still think this has the potential of doing a 20x. I would have given it more if it hadn't pumped so much, but definitely one of the better risk reward projects on this list. In the VIP, we've made more than a 50x in this market, and we've only been live for a few months. We're also significantly up on the altcoins we buy. When you join, you get a portfolio review. You get to see my 100x gems. By the way, we're accumulating a meme coin now that I'm going to be very honest and say I'd be very surprised if this doesn't do a 100x. I haven't seen any other influencer talking about it. Furthermore, you get access to DCA, profit taking, and gem hunting course worth hundreds of dollars. You can go check for yourselves what other groups charge for this. All this for $39. Obviously, these prices will triple when we enter bullish territories again, which might be sooner than people think. You can also pay with crypto for both yearly and lifetime for a very nice discount. I hope to see you there. As always, take care and stay safe.